Hi there, I'm Zoe, your dietitian, and I am so excited to have you here for this on-demand class. We are talking about mindfulness. Mindfulness in, yes, eating, but also in your everyday life and how to incorporate more mindfulness on a regular basis. Because maybe you've heard the word mindful eating before, but not quite sure how to implement it. You're going to know after this class. So let's talk about the definition of mindfulness. The definition of mindfulness states the quality of state of being consciousness aware of something. So being fully aware of what's going on. And then another definition here is a mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's own feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. I actually really like that second definition best because that shows that we are calmly taking in the surroundings and not only listening to our thoughts and our feelings, but also the different sensations in our body. So when you hear the word mindfulness, what comes to mind? So you can either journal this out, you can pause it, journal this out. What does mindfulness mean to you? Or just think about it, come to a Q&A or come to a support group and let's talk about this more live in person. So be thinking about what mindfulness means to you. So let's move into mindful eating and drinking. So mindful eating specifically is a tool to help you learn your body's hunger and satiety cues and honor them. That's a big thing. It's knowing what your body's telling you and listening to it. So whether you are getting ready for surgery, not getting surgery, you're after surgery, wherever you're at in terms of your weight loss journey, or even if you are in the spot where you're learning to maintain your weight, mindful eating is a practice that everybody should be incorporating regularly. So this is a way to use all of your senses and to, like that definition said at the beginning, take account on how are you feeling, what are you thinking about, what is your body telling you. And this is actually a little funny thing that I did with a group of summer camp kids, actually. So we're going to go through this exercise together. Now, I know that we're on virtual and I'm not there with you right now, but I want to walk through this with you and we can do it together. So imagine I've just handed you a Hershey's Kiss. And you can think I did this with this little summer camp kids, so this was quite funny to watch. But so we've got this Hershey's Kiss, okay? So this is a mindful eating activity. So I want you to look at your Hershey's Kiss. What color is it? Maybe what does it feel like? What's its shape? Okay, now I want you to slowly unwrap that Hershey's Kiss. Put it on your hand. Okay, now we're taking a note on, it's a different color now, right? Because you've taken the wrapper off. Maybe you can smell it and you can start to smell what it smells like. Okay, we're still looking at it. What is your body telling you? What are some of your thoughts that are going on? Okay, now I want you to put the Hershey's Kiss in your mouth. I don't want you to chew it. You can't bite down on it. But I want you to let it melt on your tongue. So I want you to taste it. I want you to smell it. Maybe what is happening in the back of your throat. And just work through all of those different sensations that's happening as you're letting this Hershey's Kiss melt on your tongue. So you can see how as we went through that activity, we were listening and observing all of our senses. And also, a big piece of this is we also want to appreciate the food, where it came from, maybe who worked hard to get it to you. So this is something that you can do while you are practicing mindful eating, while you are eating your meal. because maybe you're used to eating really quickly, and so part of mindful eating is slowing down when you eat. So this is something that you can be thinking about to bring the attention and the focus and the mindfulness to your meal as you're eating it. So let's talk about maybe like a salad that you're eating. Thinking about the farm workers harvesting those vegetables. Maybe the truck driver driving that produce to the grocery store. The person that's unloading them and putting them out on the shelf. Maybe your partner who went to the grocery store to get it for you. And all of that energy and that time and that went into this one meal. And it really helps us bring gratitude and attention and mindfulness to that meal. And that's a kind of a cool thing if you find yourself distracted or maybe not appreciating exactly where your meal came from. So I encourage you to try that. So all right, let's talk about actually what are we doing to mindfully eat. So first things first, I want you to start trying to take very small bites. So maybe that is you're cutting up all of your food up before you start eating it, or even taking cutting each small bite as you go. It doesn't matter. But we want to take very small bites, and I want you to chew very thoroughly to the consistency of applesauce, so that you are not swallowing too big of chunks of food, which will put more pressure and stress on your digestive system. So also, this is a really, really big one that we talked about just a little bit earlier, is eating slowly. So I don't know, a lot of us, I know that I have to put a lot of attention to slowing down when I'm eating, because I wasn't raised that way. We sat down and we scarfed down our food, and then that was the end of it. And so it takes a while, and it really takes some attention and mindfulness to recreate those new habits, those new behaviors. And so if you find yourself eating pretty quickly, just try to put your fork down between each bite. That can do a lot to help you slow down. Maybe like fold your hands, put them in your lap, and that helps not put a bite in and then get your next bite ready and have it right here waiting, right? So really want to try to slow down while you're eating. And eating without distraction. This is a huge one. We live in a really busy, high-paced world with lots of distractions, whether you're eating in front of the TV, or you're doing work while you're trying to eat your lunch, or even you're just distracting yourself scrolling on your phone. When we are distracted, we are paying attention to those outside forces, outside things, and not on our own body and what it's telling us. So when we remove the distraction, we are more easily able to listen to our body, those hunger and satiety cues, and we want to stop when we are truly full. Instead of eating too quickly, eating everything on our plate and not recognizing that we're full, or eating while watching TV and being so distracted that you didn't even realize that you ate everything and then you're really full. And so instead, we want to eat slowly enough that your brain can catch up to your stomach and you can actually honor that satiety when you start to feel it. And as an aside, with surgery, if you've gotten it or if you are going to get it, we really want to make sure that you don't get to that point of feeling overly full, because that can be very uncomfortable, painful, even cause some nausea and vomiting. So we want to stop before you get to that point. And here's the thing, we can, if you don't finish everything on your plate, that's okay. You can save it for later. And that's going to take some reconditioning, and that's okay. Just start practicing right now. If you can start practicing mindful eating right now, that would be awesome. And I encourage you all to try to do this at least one meal during the day. Okay, so now let's talk about being mindful in other areas, because yes, mindful eating is what we kind of usually talk about and usually think about, especially here in our nutrition program. But I also encourage you to think about how you can incorporate mindfulness in other areas of your life to be more present, to be aware of what's going on in your body, and really allow that gratitude for even the smallest things. So how we can incorporate mindfulness is to really focus on your breath, whether you're going for a walk or you're doing something that maybe you're starting to feel overwhelmed. Just try to slow it back down and focus on your breath and bring that awareness back into your body, and it can really help calm that anxiety and that stress. So maybe when you're on a walk outside, take out those earbuds and listen to the birds, listen to the leaves rustling on the trees, listen to the car go by, the dog barking, and try to use all of your senses to take in your surroundings and be very present and mindful in that moment. And you can put that same mindfulness and being fully present in any day scenario. So I do encourage you to try to incorporate or think about at least one situation in your daily life that you can be more mindful. Maybe that's while you are doing the dishes. Make even the smallest little situation an opportunity to practice mindfulness. And focusing on one task at a time. I know that I need to work on this, multitasking, right? But when we focus on one task at a time, we can put all of our attention and mindfulness on that one task and do it to a much better, greater ability than if we were to try to do multiple things all at the same time, right? So another piece is meditation. There are so many meditation apps, guided meditation, YouTube videos, podcasts, different things that if you want to just kind of get your feet wet in starting to practice some meditation, that is a really great place to start, is having some of that guided meditation. And even just being quiet and eyes closed, trying to shut off your brain for even just 5 minutes a day really goes a long way in reducing stress and helping to create that mindfulness. So what is one area that you can be more mindful in your everyday life? So finally, I just want to wrap up with some self-reflection questions. So whether you have a journal right next to you or a piece of paper, or even if you just want to think about it, I really recommend you taking a little bit of time to reflect on these questions. Where in your day do you feel most distracted? How can you incorporate mindfulness into your day? And what are some of the benefits you might experience by incorporating more mindfulness? So journal it out, think about it, come chat about it with me live. You can come to a support group, like I said. You can come to a Q&A. There are lots of ways to talk live, and I would love to hear from you and to see what benefits maybe you have been able to see by incorporating more mindfulness. If you have any questions, you know where to find me, and I look forward to seeing you soon.